The Altoona Curve slugging it out with the Harrisburg Senators this week. They are now in a tie for first place Southwest Division second half in the Eastern League, and they're trying, of course, to make it into the playoffs as the number one team out of the division. So looking strong, but still some work to do. They've got 3 more games left in Harrisburg, and then they've got Richmond coming into Altoona next week. Preston Shoemaker is on the line with us from the Curve, and our visit presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 4 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Preston, you get to Harrisburg at this point of the season. You've got games to win right there in front of you. It's time to play some big boy baseball for the Curve, isn't it?
You know what? The playoffs start in 3 weeks, but it feels like the playoffs are starting this week. Every game just means a little bit more right now for the rest of the season, especially this week against the Senators team. They are playing good baseball right now, just like Altoona is. It's been 3 competitive games to start this series, and this weekend's going to be a really big deal.
Yeah, it really is. There are a bunch of guys on this Curve team who started the season in Greensboro. They're the ones who are now pulling the Curve toward that playoff position. And everybody thinks of Connor Griffin, but my goodness, Esmeralda Valdez, he's another Deuce Gorson, and pitchers. Well, the pitchers, they just seem to channel right through Altoona and make it up to Indianapolis. I mean, it's been fascinating to watch since the draft.
Yeah, this is a lot of guys, like you said, that have come from Greensboro, and they were competing for our first half championship there with the Grasshoppers, a team that is also having a second half playoff push. Indianapolis is having a playoff push right now in the second half. So it's certainly interesting to see how much things have changed. And I was actually chatting a little bit with Termarr Johnson about that earlier this week, because he's one of what feels like a handful of guys who have been here with Altoona all year long. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, how different is it to see a team turn over a couple of times throughout the season, new guys coming in every day? And he said, this is a group of guys that has really gelled as of late. They've played really hard. The guys that have won in Greensboro, I mean, you mentioned Connor Griffin and Esmeralda Valdez, but Omar Alfonso and P.J. Hilson and Javier Rivas have all come up as well. So it's definitely a fun time to see these guys kind of click, and there's a lot of talent on this roster right now. You just got to go out and win the games.
It's kind of weird to think of Termarr being a veteran and looking for veteran leadership. He's just a kid still.
Well, you know what? We've been saying this for the last few years. Termarr Johnson, who had never faced a pitcher who was younger than him in his professional career, faced one last night who was younger than him. It was the first time the Senators had a 20-year-old starting pitcher, Alex Clemmie. Termarr Johnson, who went over 5 last night, it was the first time that he faced somebody that was younger than him. So I asked him, between that and between Connor Griffin being around, what it felt like being the old guy in the clubhouse now, and he laughed, and he was like, I don't know about that, but I got some wisdom. I'm ready to go. So he's been around all season, and he's playing good baseball right now. Saw a 12-game on-base streak come to an end last night, but Griffin and Johnson are kind of pulling the best out of each other right now, and it's making this team play really well.
Yeah, it sort of make Pirates fans really excited about what's going to be happening 2 or 3 years from now when both those guys are up there, and they're the double play combination in the middle of the infield.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you got a little bit of a glimpse of that last week when Oneil Cruz was on rehab assignment with Altoona as well. It was kind of a flash of the Pirates' present and their future, with Cruz batting in the leadoff spot, Griffin batting second, Johnson batting third. Those guys were fueling off of each other. They were helping the Curve win games. And Termarr said it was cool to have Oneil around, a guy that he's kind of looked up to and known for a few years now. But that's definitely the goal, to get 3 of those guys together in Pittsburgh. And, this is the first time Connor and Termarr have played together on the same roster, other than maybe a handful of games in spring training. So it's kind of fun to see those guys getting to know each other a little bit better, having fun, turning double plays up the middle, and hitting each other in, getting a lot of base hits.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned a couple of other names, and I mentioned one as well. I think Deuce is sort of settling in now with Altoona, and he's given really quality at-bats right now, isn't he?
Yeah, 10-game hitting streak for Deuce, who was scratched from the lineup last night. He'll likely be back in the batting order tonight for Altoona. But the big thing with guys like Deuce Gorson, and you mentioned Esmeralda Valdez, who hit a home run last night, Javier Rivas homered earlier this week. This curve order is lengthening. It's just feels a lot deeper than it was at the beginning of the year. So pitchers don't really get a chance to kind of have a sigh of relief and feel like they have an at-bat where they can get a quick out or an easier out. And Deuce is certainly a big part of that. He could bat in the top 3 spots in the batting order. He could be batting 7th or 8th in the batting order, and he's going to give you a good at-bat. He's going to find a way to get on base. He, along with Omar Alfonso and Rivas and Valdez and Hilson, are really deepening this curve lineup right now. It's one of the deepest in the Eastern League for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and I like Omar Alfonso as well. I think that he's a quality ball player. Yeah,
Omar's fun to be around. He's definitely got a high baseball IQ, good arm behind the plate. Just to have a catcher that you can trust to get out there, swing from the left-hand side of the plate, get into a few home runs. He's definitely a guy that knows what he's doing out there, and that's really the case with all these guys right now. You got that group of guys from Greensboro that they won there. They're winning now with Altoona, and it's a lot of fun to watch because this team has talent everywhere you look at every position.
Yeah. Now, pitching staff is interesting to me as well with the Altoona Curve. You're heading into this weekend series with Harrisburg going to wrap up 3 games here the next 3 days, and then you've got the Flying Squirrels coming right there to Altoona. And we've seen all of these talented pitchers come and go with Altoona because they're progressing up and down through the system. Does Altoona have the arms to shut down, say, a Richmond Flying Squirrels offense, which is pretty good, a Harrisburg offense, which is pretty good, and really make this stretch run?
I think they do. I think there are enough guys on this Curve team that can really throw the ball well. You look at the starting rotation. Wilbur Dotel has been throwing the ball pretty well for Altoona all year. Antoine Kelly is a guy that Pirates fans should really start getting excited about. He's got the fastball up over 100 and can locate very well as a starter. Alessandro Ercolani has been one of the best arms this year as well for Altoona. So you take those 3 guys in the rotation and you look at a bullpen that, you're right, there's been a lot of turnover in that Curve bullpen. Guys like Ryan Harbin and Brandon Bidwa and Wilkin Ramos and Pope Burrows have all gone to AAA, but you still have guys in that bullpen that you trust to get outs. Tyler Samanego's throwing the ball really well right now for Altoona. Justin Mice continues to be a guy that has really settled in his role as a reliever. He's pretty much one of the 2 closers right now with Samanego. The Curve got Jared Bayless back. He was at AAA Indianapolis, and he was sent back to Altoona yesterday, so he'll arrive here today. It's just a bullpen that I think you can still trust to get outs with all these guys, even the guys that have come up when the Curve lose arms. Mike Walsh and Landon Tompkins are throwing the ball pretty well this season. So, I trust this Curve bullpen and this Curve pitching staff to get it done over any other team in the league as well. So I think, you're just at a situation where the talent is there. The collective group is better than what it has been in Altoona in years past. But on paper, it doesn't matter all that much. You have to go out and win the games. And this is the Harrisburg team that is also very talented. So they're going to go out this week and try to pick up wins this weekend, and the Curve have to try to prevent that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're home for the final homestand of the season. And it's against the Richmond Flying Squirrels, which makes perfect sense when you're in a pennant race or a playoff race with them. So next week's going to be really, really big for Curve fans and a last chance to see them.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how the schedule works out this year. You get Harrisburg this week, you get Richmond at home for the final regular season homestand next week, and then you end the year at Erie, the team that's already in the postseason with the first half championship. So, if you're going to be a playoff team, you have to beat teams that are also playoff caliber, and that's what the Curve are trying to prove here down the stretch. So 6 games at home next week, 6 o'clock games Tuesday through Saturday, and a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. Chance to see Connor Griffin and these guys in person in the regular season one final time. Hopefully there's a chance to catch a playoff game or 2 at People's Natural Gas Field as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a wonderful, wonderful thing. Well, Preston, I know that Curve fans have been enjoying this season all year long. There's been a lot of turnover in that roster. Guys at the beginning of the season who have gone on to other places and new guys coming up. Always fun, though, to watch Curve baseball, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a fun time for sure. I mean, it's my 5th year calling games with Altoona, and I always enjoy watching these guys play throughout the end of the season. But when every game means a little bit more down the stretch, you're locked in a little bit more. You can tell all the guys in the clubhouse are really enjoying this right now. It's a fun opportunity to go out there and prove that you have a chance to have what it takes to go and win a championship, and these guys want it pretty bad. It's a lot of fun to watch.
You got it. We've got Connor Griffin, we've got Termar Johnson, Esmeralyn Valdez, and so many others. The Curve, all next week against the Richmond Flying Squirrels. Preston Shoemaker, thanks so much.
Thanks, Todd. We'll talk to you soon.
There he is. It's Indiana in the Morning, and it's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.